We got to start with the Milwaukee Bucks, the Indiana Pacers, Myles Turner, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Hey, listen, man. Let me say this. Giannis is not going anywhere, y'all. So stop it. Stop it. I know we want to have the story to tell. I know we want to paint the pictures. I know we want to, the what ifs and all that. We've been doing this for the last 3-4 years. And Giannis has stayed put. Now, look, granted, would I want to see Giannis on another team, being able to go and legitimately, go compete for a championship? Absolutely. But the fact of the matter is, that's his home. Giannis ain't trying to leave the crib. Here's the thing. Giannis has been consistently, over the last decade, the best player in the Eastern Conference. Hands down. One could argue he been, best player in the league. You could argue that. He always finished tops in MVP. Last year he averaged 30, almost 12 rebounds, 6.5 assists. Giannis is one of one. He's one of one. Let's make that, let's get that clear. We have never seen a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Ever. In my opinion, already top 5 greatest power forward of all time. Okay? That's a fact. That's a fact with his accolades. And so when you think about who Giannis is, right, you think about one of the most dominant players that we've seen in the game of basketball. If I'm Milwaukee, I'm not just giving them up either. I'm not just giving up on Giannis. And credit to the Milwaukee Bucks, because every single offseason, every single postseason, they do what they need to do to try to please their guy, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, sometimes the pieces just don't work, but you can't fault them for trying. So when they go out and they go get a Myles Turner, right, who is an upgrade from Brook Lopez, okay, who could do a lot. You pay him alongside Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then you re-sign Bobby Portis. We're talking about arguably the best front court in the NBA. When you think about those three guys, real talk, you talk about Myles, Bobby, Giannis, man, Doc got options over there, right? And so when you think about where the East is going or where the East is at, right, you're looking at the Celtics. Obviously, they look like they in, a rebuild mode somewhat because of the Tatum injury. Obviously, it's going to be a big opportunity for Jaylen Brown to prove that he should be in the conversation with the likes of Donovan Mitchell and Luka, because this is his year to take off. And when I say take off, I'm not disrespecting the Conference MVP award, Conference Finals MVP award, or the final. No, I'm talking about going make a stand and put your name in the MVP conversation, right? When you look at the New York Knicks, obviously they're going to be there, right? They upgraded their bench, and they got a hiring over there with Mike Brown. We're diving into that later. The Philadelphia 76ers is nowhere in here. I believe Joel Embiid is going to come back on a revenge tour. I believe so. This is going to be a revenge season for Joel Embiid. I believe he's going to come back on a mission. Well, he should. He should. Because him and Paul George are probably, in my opinion, not probably, they are. When it comes to pressure, they're the top 2 for as most pressure in the NBA to get something done. Nobody want to hear nothing else. You got to get it done. You got to get that shit done, period. No other way around it. Conference finals, minimum, with our big 3. With you, Tyrese Maxey, with Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. Now, let me stay on the Bucks. It was a win-win situation for the Pacers and Myles Turner. You put Myles Turner on the Bucks, I think the Bucks are going to finish the top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. Like I said again, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been the best player consistently over the last decade. He's going to give you 30 and 12 a night. I think he's going to have another MVP caliber season. I actually like the pieces that they have over there with the Milwaukee Bucks. I actually like what Gary Trent Jr. brought to the table last season. We know he had his little moment in the playoffs last year, he couldn't catch the pass or whatever, but he also dropped 30. A few times, 30 plus. Wing dinner, spicy, all flats, a few times. So when I look at this squad, do I think they're done? No, but I do think they could go upgrade and do some more moves, right? I do love the kid Porter. I think he's a hooper. But can you go out, can you go get a Chris Paul, right? He wants to be a starter, but I'm hearing he wants to stay closer to home. But if you're Chris Paul, you looking at this situation, you saying, damn, I did hoop for Doc. They do need a point guard. I can't set the table for them. I got me a pick and pop guy in Myles Turner and Bobby Portis. I got a dynamic roller in Giannis. And I could knock down the trade ball. Yeah, I might consider that. If you Russell Westbrook and you the Milwaukee Bucks, why haven't y'all had a conversation? I know Russ wants to stay close to home, but Russ, you might have, this is an opportunity, bro. You could go there and start. You can go there and shut a lot of haters up. You know, they be all up and down with you anyway, so you go shut that shit up right now. When I look at the Milwaukee Bucks, they are in position to have a good-ass regular season and make a push in the postseason. Obviously, you got the Cavs there, but again, when you have Giannis Antetokounmpo and how the East is looking right now, you got a shot. I don't give a damn what nobody's saying. Just stop with all the nonsense, please. Stop with all the, Giannis and no. First of all, Giannis knew that they were getting Myles Turner. Let me give y'all some feedback. I played with some info, should I say. I played with a lot of Hall of Famers, a whole lot of them. 99% of the times when a move is being made by the franchise, they know. They know. So Giannis knew. He probably didn't know that Dame was going to be Wade, but he knew that they were getting Myles Turner. Okay, he knew that. He knew. And he probably approved of it. Great signing, in my opinion. I don't give a damn what nobody say. When you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, damn it, you go for it. When that man say he's committed and he wants to stay, or he's showing you signs that he wants to stay and he's not trying to leave, you do exactly what the Bucks are doing. You do it. I don't give a damn if it costs you money. You got to stretch money. You get it done. Period. Now, on the Pacer side of things, if you're a Pacer fan, you shouldn't be mad. I think, if a lot of times, some good things come to an end. When you think about Myles Turner, right? Like, if you're Tyrese Halliburton, you got a year, you got to, recover from the Achilles injury and things to that nature. Hey, man, listen, you got a nice young group over there, right? Was Myles Turner a big part of y'all being able to have success, the success for us winning at a high level over the past 2 years? Absolutely, right? It's hard to replace a guy that can stretch the floor, roll to the basket, one of the best shot blockers in the league. We get all that. But I will say this, Myles Turner did an exceptional job. Great job this postseason. In the first 2 rounds, conference finals, Myles Turner ain't really ball like that. And I'm just keeping it a buck. He ain't really ball like that. It was a lot of OB topping, a lot of the bench. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you could replace him, but if you're the Indiana Pacers, do you really go into the luxury tax to re-sign Myles Turner for what? To have what type of year? No, let them rock. You got some young bigs over there. Let them develop this season. Search the market for next season when Tyrese Halliburton is starting the season fully healthy, right? Coming off that Achilles injury, and then you go from there. That's the way I would look at it. Like, I get it. A lot of people could be, it was shocking. That's what it was. It was shocking because we didn't know this was coming. That's the problem. But it's here now. I think it's a win-win for both situations. I think it's a win-win for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think it's a win for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think it's a win for the Indiana Pacers. So everybody just move on. I believe the Pacers will be just fine. I believe now, without Tyrese Halliburton being healthy, I do believe they will make the playoffs, but it's going to be through the play-in tournament. I do believe that. Now, that's not being disrespectful, but Tyrese Halliburton is the head of that snake. He's the point guard for a reason. He gets everybody, but I will not knock that. They are a better team, right? When you have your motor. He is their motor to that Ferrari.